Today's Toy Spot, we are having a look at the Playmates Toys Voltron Legendary Defender. This is Sword Attack Voltron. Not really much in the way of packaging for this specific release. Essentially, you can do really all the action feature right here on Voltron without really taking it out of the packaging, but I will still take it out of the packaging, of course, because we're going to have a better, closer look at him. A big thank you to the folks over at Playmates Toys for sending this over as a sample. This is promoting the Voltron Legendary Defender, which is now currently streaming on Netflix, as also indicated at the bottom right-hand corner. The back of the package, some nice artwork of the new Voltron. Long ago, a mighty robot warrior, Voltron, was created to protect the galaxy from evil. Now 5 young heroes must master the power of Voltron Lions to defeat the Galra Empire and restore peace. You can see also how the swinging sword action works. Pilot has 5 paladins. Primary attack, Voltron's sword. Primary formation, solo battle. And battle mode, Voltron's sword cuts Robeast down to size. Other releases available, there are the Sword Attack Voltron, which we will be looking at. But there's also a Lion Attack Voltron. Interested to see how those two differ from one another. There is the blue line, red line, black line, green line, and yellow line, all of which having the own corresponding action features. And then there's also a Mizax as well. To check out more from the folks over at Playmates, head over to www.playmatestoys.com. You can also head over to www.voltron.com if you'd like to check out some cool Voltron stuff as well. Spot's going to take a break and get this opened up. When we come back, though, we're going to get a better look at Sword Attack Voltron. There's more anyway, guys. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Even though this particular Voltron is essentially a gimmick, has a gimmick to it, he still manages to get himself his own accessory. He comes with this slightly translucent blue sword, and it can clip right onto the side of the green lion. And we'll just line it all up, snap it into place, and you got yourself a substantially large looking shield. Looks quite good on him. Just take this off for the time being. We'll put this to the side, and let's have a look at Voltron. Now, understanding the fact that essentially with Playmates Toys, they're releasing like 2 variation lines to Voltron. One relies more so on gimmick. The other one has the transformation of the lions. A lot of people would go then to the transforming lions as their go-to for Voltrons. But you know what? Some of these smaller figures work quite well too. Let's have a look at his face. Just kind of bring the sword down for that. Let's zoom into his face. Now, unfortunately, because the figures are smaller, sometimes the paint gets omitted. And unfortunately here with the case of Voltron's face, his face has a lot of the coloring that, you know, really breaks, well, not really breaks up, but really distinguishes those features. The sculpt is good, but unfortunately the paint has been left completely off. It's all just silver. It blends itself so very easily into the open mouth of the lion that without the blue and additional coloring, you really can't make out a face in there unless you look really close. And you can see that there's a face there. I wish that paint, if any place could be left off for paint, I really feel like the face area would probably be the last, or would hopefully be the last place. The rest of the coloring has the colorings of the lions represented in the yellow, the blue, the green, and the red. The faces on the lions, again, slightly omitted, at least from the standpoint of the eyes. The eyes are painted in. The blue line has his, the green line has his, and even the red line's got some paint there as well. It's not a very big figure either. It's fairly small, actually. In fact, doing some size comparisons, let's put Voltron right there for a second. Let's bring in, for example, one of the build lines. That's the blue line, of course. And you know what, while we're also at it, let's look at one of the other lines that we just looked at. There is one of the lines that actually has the spring leaping attack. So you can kind of see how big this Voltron is versus those other lines. There's a big size difference between all 3 of them. Obviously the money, I think, for me, personally speaking, is the build lines, because they have both the posability and the transforming capabilities to merge into Voltron. Really, though, I did still like the blue lion. Would pick up more of these if I could actually find them. Because even though they have a gimmick, yes, I like just the shape. It looks just a little bit more like a cat to me as opposed to a block you're having to turn into something else and then thereby being a little less streamlined. So I did like this one. Voltron, again, is not too bad. Just the downside, though, to it is he doesn't have a lot of paint to him. Posability on this Voltron before we just get to his one gimmick. His arm does rotate all the way around, as well as he has a hinge in the elbow, so that's nice. No real ball joint to the head, but the head does hinge back and forth. That's about all you're really going to get for it. No waist articulation. And one leg does move forward. This leg doesn't technically move forward because it lends itself to what it's about to do, nor really can be said for the arm. Now the arm, actually, when you get it out of the packaging, is up here. And if you've collected like the Superpowers figures over the course of, you know, when you were younger or whatnot, it's basically the same idea. The leg pinches and you get yourself a sword slashing attack. Now the arm's here, just because the arm does hinge due to the leg being pinched, you could still move the arm further down, as I did with the beginning of this review. I brought the arm further down just so it looks a little bit more balanced and doesn't look like he's got his arm straight up. The gimmick still works, but of course it just means the further the arm is down, the swinging attack is going to start from that point down. So for that, you might want to have it higher up so you get a full swing attack. The blade also, the blazing sword, is not translucent. Instead, it favors more a solid paint, being a lighter kind of ice blue. These particular figures, I think most people are kind of gravitating more towards the build lions as like the go-to for Voltrons. I don't mind this particular figure for its size, but I wish it didn't have just solely a gimmick to sell the figure. I think, if anything, having the hinge in the elbow in the green line gives me the idea that I wish that there was articulation basically on the whole figure, like a smaller posable version of Voltron. I think would have been appreciated as well. But I mean, if for the kids, you know, kids love little slashing Voltrons, little slashing toys, that I think this accommodates for more so obviously for them picking these up than a more adult collector. For what it is and for its size, it's not terribly bad. I wish paint could have been a little bit more improved upon like the face and some of the areas of the rest of his body. But all around, for what it is and for a kid picking this up, at least it's a fairly fun Voltron. Oh, and also there's rotation in the wrist. There you go as well. One extra thing that I didn't realize there was, it also has rotation in the wrist. Does this one have it? Yeah, this one actually has it as well. So additional articulation. Hey, I didn't really realize that it had it, but sure enough, there's Voltron with his swinging sword. Today's Toy Spot, we're continuing our looks at the Voltron toys. Again, thank you to the folks over at Playmates for sending this my way. Not a bad figure. If you like gimmicks, just wish the paint was a little bit better though. Stay tuned, guys. Spot's got more Toy Spots heading your way, that's true. Thanks for watching, as you always do. I'll see you next time.